for you. And if this is your first time stopping my channel, much love to you and welcome. And to my returning subs, my grown extended beautiful family. Sorry, y'all got my lips feeling. So my beautiful family, thank you so much for the love and support y'all are constantly giving me. It's truly appreciated on many levels. So with that being said, much love to all. Namaste, love and blessings, love and light, and many blessings are coming your way. And if you have been watching my videos for a while and have not already, please like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell so you know when your girl is about to upload her next video. Also, if you're comfortable enough, drop me a line or two. I would love the chance to get to know you as much as you're getting to know me, even if it's about the positive feedback of the content of my video, or you're just up, tell me about your empathic gift, how it impacted your life, and heading you towards a positive direction. And if you feel like the videos are informative, give you good vibes or uplift that you would love to share with a loved one, family, or friend, or even a fellow empath that are going through trying times and need confirmation or validation towards life path or even soul purposes, please go ahead and share. And while you're at it, give your girl a thumbs up, like, and also share on your social media favorites. It's going like from blue to purple, all this crazy mess. But anyways, the music I'm listening to in the background is called Manifest Miracles. It's called Manifest Miracles. Raise your vibration, elevate happiness, frequency, serotonin levels. And let me see. Who's the channel? Oh, by Jason Stevenson, Chakra Healing Music. He always has really good meditation. And I will post his link to his channel on the description box below. And the video I'm doing today is called Twin Flame 101. Heyokas, your gifts of purpose give you divine, given from the divine, gives you an advantage that many lack. It's so true. Everything that is taking place in your life is certain things that you have an advantage for that many either have to, go many years, to be able to do on certain techniques or not even at all. There's a lot of things that I've stumbled upon that I've been doing for years and didn't even know it can be, a gift of some kind of purpose into my life. Being strongly connected to like the Akashic records. There's a lot of times I can connect with other people, and they'll tell me the different things that are taking place in their life, the things that they have struggled with, and I'll start getting flashes of things. And I've always been like that since I was little. And when I was like around 4 or 5 years old, it was really strong. It could be like, especially when I was living in what is it, Swankfurt. It was basically between Swankfurt and Frankfurt, Germany. We will always walk in the village and stuff like that. And there will be some people that are just really, into themselves. They go by the walks of, where the lakes and stuff are. It's very beautiful. And, my mom and her husband would take me out, and it would be, I'd just be so happy. And I'll always be forever taking, giving hugs to people. And I've been like that since I was a little girl. My mom was like, you need to stop that for you. You get snatched up because you're always giving people hugs like that, and that's not good. And I said, Mom, there's some people that really truly need that. I love to make people happy. And I remember this one time, this guy was like really in his own world. You can really tell that, he was, dealing with a lot of pain. And I seen this woman that was following behind him, but she was very translucent. And, I was able to describe to the man about this lady that's following him. And she was like, can you tell him that I'm always with him? And it was a certain symbol that only they would use. And I can't remember what that symbol was. But at 4 years old, being able to tell this man that, I said, hey, she told me to give you this hug. She's been trying to give this to you. Um, this all day. But she wants you to know that she's always with you. And she told me to tell you this. And it was like either a button or something that they always had. And it was just like anytime he felt like, he missed her or he was scared about something, she always told him to, this is remembrance to me. These are the things you need to go by, all these different things. And was just being able to give him that hug. And he really let it out, and I felt so good about it. And I said, it's okay, she's always going to be with you. And for a 4-year old child to tell you something like that is really crazy. And I didn't know that it was like his mom was in some kind of hospice type situation, and they had to take her off of life support. So that was something that was very hard for him to have to do. So it was just being able to give him that confirmation that, his mom was still with him. So it was like things I've been doing that since I was little, and for a while we go through that uh, amnesia gift. It's just like something that we've been doing for a long time. And then we took this, it was like a big gap that you went through. Mine was because of, what was that? I was having night terrors and stuff like that. So my mom's ex-husband had me go through a lot of therapy, and I had to go through a lot of sleep hypnosis and stuff like that so I can stop doing those things, and didn't realize it cut off my gift at the same time. So it's just like all these things took place, and didn't know, did psychometry since I was little. There are certain things that I can touch and I could see things, or even when I was little. I guess it's just because when you're, we always try to understand why when we're younger, it's so used for you to do that. It's just like, they always say if you're going to teach your child a different language or whatever, it's best to do it when they're young because it's like they can, they can jump right into it. And it just makes me mad now. It's like, I got a lot of friends that live in Germany and stuff like that I still connect with here. And I love to be able to speak to them in German, but when I came back to the States, I had to have me an interpreter. So, since I grew up, I can't even understand it anymore because I couldn't, my mom was like, no, you need to speak English. You need to speak English. And me and her husband was the only one that could be able to, you know, do those different things. So, it was like only time it was like really hard for me to be able to speak English at times, but I would do it at certain spans, and the next thing you know, I'll start jumping back, going back to German again. But there's a lot of things that you have to be able to take advantage of, that is, in a positive way. That's what, let me put it that way. I don't want nobody to misconstrue what I'm saying, but you have to take that advantage of going by your gifts. There's a lot of things, and a lot of times we go through different trauma that had to take place in our life to make our gift switch pop on. And I don't know why it has to be that way, but I know it's just like from what my understanding is, it has to be at, when you're upset or you're going through your emotions, everything is intensified at that time because it's like a lot of things you're facing that may not be comfortable. There's a lot of things that you had to really come to terms with. There's a lot of things that you're breaking away from. So that energy is very high. So they're allowing you, there's a lot of things that, we don't take advantage of. We actually take for granted that we can do that. And a lot of times we feel like when it's like us being an empath or even a Heyoka, it's more of a burden than a blessing. And I feel like the only part of it, a burden is with me, is when I've been able to see a lot of people that were going through their transition and parting ways of death, you know and those are the things that I really didn't want to see, because there are sometimes I would see it as well as feel what they're going through. If somebody, got burnt, during certain things, I would end up having like afflictions of burnt. It was kind of somewhat like a stigmata that I had to go through when I connected with people on that level. And those are the things I did not like. I'm still trying to find out what's the reason for them things. I don't know. I'm trying to get that understanding. But, any other thing, it's a blessing to be able to, to have, being able to know I can connect with people in that way. And sometimes it's hard when I even connect with people and they're like, when they're wanting me to do a reading on them, and I'm like, sometimes it's just like up to spirit if they want me to know there's things, because I tell people there are certain line of lessons that have to be crossed for me to be able to understand that, because you could be still going through different changes that's not yet being presented to me, or there are certain things you may think you are, or trying to go towards, and a certain gift that you're thinking that you have is because you have gone through extreme trauma to the point where you have a disassociation of identity. So, and those things can happen as well. It just depends on whatever you have, have really endured at extreme levels, which is very sad as well. So it's like many people I've been able to connect with where we are strongly connected, and that I'm able to give that, even when I don't not talking to that person, I can just say, hey, is this, that, and third? Are these things that you're used to, or are these things giving you confirmation? And a lot of times I had to be able to go through those different things, and that's sending a confirmation that person really truly needed to heal at that time. So it's just like things you have to allow yourself to really open yourself up to them. A lot of times it's like with me and my situation, I used to get in trouble when I used to use my gift. I had a medium gift, and it was like even when I moved back down to the south, it was like I think I was here for like probably a year and a half to almost close to 2 years, and I connected with this lady, and I had vibes, or even flashes of her about to commit suicide. That day after she went to work, it was like she had everything calculated. It was at that point she really didn't want to live anymore, and I had to get my children's eyes checked. And and it was, I kept hearing somebody saying, hey, I'm trying to get, hey, hey, and I'm just like looking around and stuff like that. Who keeps saying hey? But it was like nobody looking at me, so I'm thinking it's probably somebody else, and just feeling these intense vibes, like who keeps on trying to get somebody's attention. He's like, I know you see me. And I was like, oh snap. I was just like, dang, not now, not now. I'm hearing things again. So I really thought I was going crazy. And it was like this woman, you can really tell she was the sweetest thing, but it's like her eyes told me that, told a story of sadness, extreme sadness that really is taking place. And I was at the optical shop, and I remember telling this story when I forgot what video it was. I think it was like my medium gift experience. Um, and you was getting it was what we were getting the contacts in our eyeglasses, sized up and everything, and she was writing the information down. And whoever that was is like, please, 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 you can hear me, can you please tell her, it's so important. I'm like, man, this woman gonna not go off on me, and we're in front of public, I'm not doing that. And they were like, please, it's very important for you to do that. So as soon as she got finished, I was like, oh God. I said, this woman gonna come off, go off on me. She's like, no, she's not. If you tell her, I said, ma'am, can I talk to you for a minute privately? And she was like, yeah, sure. She was kind of confused, like, what's going on? And I told her, well, there's somebody that is connected to you strongly and really needed me to tell you something. And it was just like, please don't, don't be alarmed. I don't know you. I'm not trying to hurt you or anything or scare you, but this person said you've been thinking highly of them, and it was something that you gathered them this morning uh, it was in remembrance of them. They may have been going through transition. So when all those things took place, they wanted to let you know anytime you think of them or you smell their scent, or it could be a certain movie or a certain, food that they liked or whatever, that's letting you know that they're still there. And they wanted you to let you know that, they're really trying to go through, their transition of, going towards the other side. It was, I guess he was in limbo at that time. And he's always been worried about her, and he couldn't do that until he knew she was okay, and knowing he was always going to be there. And she just broke down crying and hugged me, and I'm just like, oh gosh, I'm sorry. And it just brought so much attention to us. I'm like, man, please don't cry, I wasn't trying to make you cry. And then she was like, no, it's my son, it's my son. And she's like, wait a minute, because she didn't want nobody thinking I was playing her or whatever. She asked me, what did he look like? And then it was like he was translucent for a minute, and then he allowed me to see what he looked like. I said, he has khakis on, he has a plaid, plaid shirt on. Like, he looked like he was wearing an outfit of brown, that blogger guy or whatever you want to call it. And then I say, he's built up like a football player, very, a handsome guy, and just like freshly shaved. And, and she was like, oh my God, that was the last thing he had on before he died. And that was my son. And she's like, wait a minute. She runs to the back of the shop, and then she went to go get a picture. And then she was just like, which one is him? And she brought me a picture with a whole bunch of people in it. And then then he allowed me to see him again. And then when I said that, when I allowed myself to see, when he allowed me to see him, all of a sudden she got a chill. I said, well, he's touching you. Before she got the chill, I said, hey, he's touching your arm, so you might have a chill. And she, all of a sudden, she had a chill. And then I said, well, this is him right here. And then she just broke down crying. And she was like, I miss my son. I really miss my son. And I felt that heartbreak that a mother can carry. And as soon as I know my energy is changing, it's getting me emotional, and I'm trying not to, and it keeps flashing. So I apologize for that. But she was just like, I really miss my son. That's the only son I have, and I just feel lost without him. And I said, I don't, I can't even explain it. You know, I'm a parent to another parent. That's a parent's worst nightmares is to get that call that, you have to come identify your child's body. That's something a parent never wants to hear. So I gave that woman a hug and I cried with her. And then people were just looking around like, oh my God, and my adopted father, well, my mom's ex, he was with me. And it was just like when she touched me, she stood up here and said, before she can say anything, he was like, look, let her know that I'm okay. I'm gonna always be with her, and just let her know I don't want her to do anything that she's not supposed to do. And he left it at that, and I kind of figured that's what he was talking about. And then before she can ask me the question, he says, tell her no. you know um she wanted to know what happened, because I got flashes of how her son, you know transpired or whatever, transition. But I couldn't they he wouldn't allow me to see that of who caused that, because they found her son dead. Somebody killed him and in his truck. And so all these things that took place, and I told her, he needs to make sure you're okay and don't do anything that you shouldn't do. It's like knowing you're gonna see me again on the other side, but now it's not that time. Don't allow yourself to do something like that, because you won't see me if you do that. So I need to make sure you're okay. And I told her that. And next thing you know, it was like, I guess it was like on a Friday, that we went to the eyeglass appointment. And the next, that Sunday, she was on the news. And I lived on in Georgia, but she lives on the Alabama side. And next, I didn't realize that that Saturday was her son's anniversary of his murder that they're still investigating. And when I seen the different flashes, this woman had basically a suicide kit already set up for when she went home. And I'm just glad that I was able to do that for her. I hope she's still okay. I haven't heard from that lady in a long time, but these are the things that had to take place. And it was just like I got punished for doing things like that. It's like you can really hurt somebody by doing that. And I said I didn't do anything wrong. If you knew what that woman was about to do, you wouldn't have stopped me from doing that. But it was like too much good of attention was brought towards me for what I did. And he didn't like that. But it was all about, seeing that. It really hurt my soul just to be able to see somebody's son or anybody just go through a situation like that. But just being able to know that there's many people that wish they can do that, and a lot of people see that as, some people see it as the devil's work. I don't really see it as that. But I give it to anybody who can do that on a natural thing. I don't like it at times. I feel like it's a blessing, but when you see the things that has taken place that really has broke somebody's heart, those are the things that, it's not quite that good for me. But I allow my, I don't force things. I tell people all the time, look, if spirit doesn't want me to know, I can't tell you something they don't want me to know, because like I said, a lot of times you're going through different transitions, and certain things has to take place for you to understand what you are, why you're going through certain things, what is, laid out for you, what is the path that's going to be taken, and all these different things. I had to really allow myself to understand. So it's just like when you have that gift of purpose for a reason. Certain things had to take place in your life for a reason. And, when you have these gifts, don't allow yourself to lack off of that, or don't allow yourself to be open towards it because of somebody else's opinion about them. Because a lot of times we get blessed with these things. I've seen it on TV. I even seen it in real life with people I connect with, where their, families don't believe in those certain things, or they think that's like a curse from the devil. There's people that know how to move things with their mind. There's a type that, when I go through heavy transition, I can knock all the power out in the house. Or even, there's times I've done videos here when I used to use my laptop and I can move my hands, and all of a sudden you see a lot of energy coming from my hands, or like right now. It's just like all different, you'll be able to see my aura. Or there's times when people see my dad in my videos, the spirit of him as well. So I allow myself to take advantage of those things, because I know my gifts is really a very good blessing for me, that I can be able to reflect towards others, being being to be transparent of all the changes that's taking place, even the non-positive things. I can own up to that. That's what makes change, when you can be honest about the things that's taking place. If I see something I did that it could have really hurt somebody, I try to be woman enough to say, hey, what I said, it wasn't for me trying to hurt your feelings. I might have said something, you maybe took it out of context, or maybe I might have snapped at you and it had nothing to do with you and I took it out on you. So there's times I try to be more mindful of the things that I do and say, that you don't know how somebody could have took that, or you don't know how they may have seen those different things. So I try to own up to those things, but it's just allowing yourself to be comforted. That's something like a curse more than a blessing. I mean, it's just like with my situation, I feel like it's a blessing, but when it comes to seeing the things that is taking place and you can't stop it, those are the things I don't like. And I really try to ask why those things have to happen that way. And, universe is telling me you'll find out soon. So I'm like, okay, I just got to just accept it the way you accept it. Everything comes to you in due time. Things come to you in increments. They let you on a need to know basis, so you have to allow yourself to really let change take envy, to have the blessings that you have. A lot of times people's like, how do you know those things? I'm like, I don't know how I know. I just know. It's just like, I can't really explain it. There are certain videos I done sit up here and said something about, it was like my ear ringing video. I was saying something about viruses, and this was like 6 months ago. I think 6 months to a year ago, that I did that video and didn't realize that I basically predicted something that happened almost a whole year later. So it's kind of crazy. These things are taking place, but God and the divine gave me these things for a reason. They led me toward this path, and I see it more of a blessing than a hindrance, because I see all the people I've connected with all over the world that really needed to hear the things that I said. I don't allow myself to get let that get to my head, but it gives me love in my heart to know that if I can bring that type of clarity to somebody's chaos of confusion of what's taking place in their life, that's a blessing to me to be able to give towards somebody else. And I mean, I'm not gonna stop doing that. So it is I've had my good times and my bad times on through all the things that I connect with, and it is what it is. Certain things had to happen to take place for you to either appreciate it or learn the lessons of it. That you have to allow yourself to just say, okay, yeah, I learned from it this time, and allow myself to keep going. So I hope you were able to resonate with the content of this video. I would love to say, what is it? Post notification to Jenna Beth. Much love to you. Fort Lee and Drea, or I mean Fort Lee and Drea W. Much love to you. Welcome to the fam. It's so good to have you. If you're new to the channel, welcome. It's so good to have you also as well. Let me see. Oh, what? God, dog, I got stuck in what I was saying. Thumbs up, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell, drop me a line. I would love the chance to hear from you. Um, know you are truly blessed, highly favored, and forever loved, and knowing there's always somebody out there praying for your better days. And I hope that everything that's taking place in your life, that you've been trying to manifest, comes 100,000 times more than what you expected, and it comes so much sooner than you expected. And I will see you on my next video. Much love to you. Peace. Be well.